Hello crypto friends, hope you're doing well. A couple weeks ago in the do good things portion at the end of the video, posted a way to raise funds here for Zach, as one of our members personally knows his family and him, and want to report up that they raised the $500,000 and going to be sending him to better treatment. Simon Cowell donated $50,000. Someone gave $100,000 or $130,000, some mystery donor. So thank you very much if you were one of the people that did contribute to this cause, and great to see that happy ending in terms of raising that significant amount of money and now hoping to give Zach a better chance going forward. So checking in on things, we're going to start and let's talk about what the thumbnail is representing in this video. And it's that time gave a false signal. So what does that mean? We have a daily inside bar that broke bullish and then faded with a clear bear break. So how can we see that fake out coming? And if we look on the hourly time frame, it's pretty much the fact that the daily candlestick rolled over and closed just before a bull attempt and rejection. So it's a very clear rejection. Let's look at the hourly, where we had the top of this bull move in response to the wild action with Tether, and we topped out at 64.93.11. The bull move that we broke to yesterday came $3-4 shy of that level and then rejected. It was a very clear double top. If you acted on the daily inside bar, you essentially got a false signal. It would have been a bull break. Let's see, the bull break would have been given at 64.60, and we would have rejected $30 later and then pulled back. So it's important to realize that oftentimes time can give a false signal, in the sense that if that candlestick had not rolled over, if that bull move had happened 2 hours earlier, it would just be a double top and then an inside bar bear break. But the fact that it rolled over and the candlestick changed just before that move, it shifts the way things look. So it's always important to zoom into the shorter term time frames to see the details. And you would look at this chart and say, well, that's a big upper wick and a clear rejection from resistance. We never broke the top of the bull move, and now we're seeing bearish follow throughs. That's obviously a red flag for the bull move. And if you're not looking at these details and making note that it was time having a significant factor into the reason that that inside bar broke bullish, that would have shifted your mindset in terms of expecting follow through. And also, if you're looking at that on the daily time frame and not the hourly, you would have recognized the fake out signal pretty late. And the fake out signal, let's look at the 5-minute time frame. Again, it's a one candlestick bull move. And as I keep saying time and time again, a one candlestick bull move with no follow through and no continuation means absolutely nothing. We cannot trust those moves. And obviously the bears went to town with it. So where we stand right now is with a clear bear break after a little bit of that fake out signal, and we're now looking for a daily higher low to form compared to 6,151. So where we stand right now, the difference between Bitfinex and Coinbase exchanges is slowly getting smaller and smaller, and that's due to arbitrage. And one of our members, Cryptobi, posted a wonderful chart for seeing the differences here. So here's the hourly bull move in response to that Tether fiasco. And let's just look at these differences between Bitfinex and Coinbase, the difference between Bitcoin. It started at 6.3%, down to 5.3, 4.7, 4.26, and here we are now down at 3.18, and that's going to continue to shrink over the next couple of days as that continues to tighten up. And again, the arbitrage gets these exchanges back in sync with each other. So something to note, and a great visual representation of how it has played out over the last couple of days. So bears have complete control at this point. The 4-hour lower high and lower low time frame, or I should say lower high and lower low pattern right now, there's one support left from the low of the initial reaction to that tether wildness, and that's down at 63.45, and that just held by $10. So we are still in this range between the low of consolidation and the top of the recovery of that consolidation. And we've been trading within this range for a couple days at this point. So if we get a bear break, there's a lack of support until that 61.51 level, and we'll be watching for the potential that we see further weakness if we fade down and break 63.45. So the bears have the upper hand. The weekly time frame, as we're closing in on the end of the week, exponential resistance rejecting the price for 5 weeks, 4 out of the last 5 weeks. And we're going to be watching for this daily time frame. How are we going to respond? Are we going to break the low of the wild day candlestick or the high of the wild day candlestick first? And right now, obviously, it favors the bears as we are heading down closer to the low than we are to the high. I am interested in how we break this candlestick's range. That's the next significant move in the cryptocurrency space that we're going to see sometime in the next couple of weeks. and it's this candlestick's range that breaking it will give us that clear signal. Another thing we're going to be talking about is GBTC. I pointed this out maybe 2 videos ago, and the premium that is eroding. So let's just look at GBTC here for a second. And again, this is the investment trust and the way that people can play Bitcoin on the stock market. And it's a clear lower high and lower low daily pattern. And you look at Bitcoin and it's not the same pattern. So the reason that we are weaker on GBTC is the premium is eroding. And if you're looking to calculate this on a chart, this is from another one of our members, great useful information. 0.000999395 is the calculation to get the conversion of what GBTC is worth relative to Bitcoin. And so when we get to the 1 level here, that's when it tells us that 1 share of GBTC is equal to 1 Bitcoin. And we did actually get to a discount. When that tether action was going on, the price quickly dipped to a discount, meaning that if you bought GBTC, 1 share is going to get you more than 1 Bitcoin. That did not last it long at all. The market, evened itself out. But here we are standing at about a 6.5% premium. And if we look at the weekly time frame here, this premium has gone all the way up to 20% plus or 100%. It's gone up. It's been very high is what I'm trying to say. The premium has been extremely high when there was hype and momentum and euphoria, and people said, give me GBTC, give me exposure to Bitcoin in my stock account. I don't care what it costs. And that's when the premium's really high. Now nobody wants Bitcoin as it's pulling back. Some people think that accumulation is going on. I can't say whether it is or is not. If there was accumulation going on, this is the market environment you want to do it in. You do not want to accumulate into hype. You want to accumulate when nobody cares about the asset, and then you spark interest in that asset after you have already loaded up. So we know Fidelity's coming. We know Bakkt is coming. We know there is going to be another bull run in cryptocurrency. I have zero doubt about that. The question is just, when is that run going to start? And the answer is when big money is done loading, pretty much. And then they're going to hype it up. We're going to see news articles. We're going to see CNBC coverage. We're going to see retail chase what big money has already done. Are we going to see another leg down, break 6,000 convincingly? It's entirely possible, but just be aware that before the big bull run happens, you better believe that big money is going to already have loaded what they're looking to load. And it's the kind of scenario where if I have $10 million, let's go bigger than that. If I have $100 million and I want a lot of Bitcoin, I'm going to load $80 million into weakness, and then I'm going to put out hype articles, or I'm going to stir up hype and bullish momentum, and then I'm going to use that next $20 million to run the price up, market buy rather than bid buy into accumulation, and drive the price up of my 80% position that I'm already holding. And I don't care that I'm buying at higher prices with my smaller position, because I am increasing my cost basis, but it's not a significant amount because it's a much smaller amount of capital versus what I've already loaded. So that's just the psychology of what's going to go on in this space when the weekly trend change does occur, which it will eventually. So for GBTC, we're going to be watching for when this trend starts to shift. And it's probably going to be a laggard indicator, meaning it's going to be clear that the market sentiment has shifted, and we're going to see it reflected on people in the stock world willing to pay a higher premium for GBTC. But it will be very interesting to see if this still does continue to fade back down close to that 1-for-1 ratio level. And again, this is the first time that we've gotten this low in a very long time, months and months and months. And it is worth noting, let's see if we bottom out around this level. And if we start to see an uptrend on the premium increasing before we see any Bitcoin movement, that will be notable. So we'll keep checking in on this perhaps once a week or so. Ethereum. So Ethereum had the weaker setup on the daily time frame, having already broken bearish. And in the last video yesterday, it was actually an ETH chart from Bitfinex. So nice job for those that pointed out a little bit of the price discrepancies. But the price action was the same in terms of losing the 4-hour uptrend, and then nothing but bearish action since then. Just dropped all the way down. We already broke the low of this consolidation, which Bitcoin has not broken yet. We dipped all the way to 199, and we're just watching lower highs and lower lows. The hourly chart at this point, we've got resistance at 200 psychological, and we have a tightening hourly range, but at this point, I only care about the daily and the 4-hour longer term time frames. And as long as the 4-hour charts are in downtrends, the bears have complete control. So that's where we stand with ETH. We looked at XRP yesterday and said the daily bull break occurred, and we're not going to get much follow through unless Bitcoin breaks bullish as well. So obviously Bitcoin broke bearish, and that completely ruined the bullish setup that we had on XRP. 4-hour lower high and lower low. The clear loss of support here was at 4713, and we dropped all the way down to 466. So again, 4-hour lower highs and lower lows now on the 4-hour time frame. Anything under 494 is just a lower high. For Ethereum, anything under 205.56 is just a lower high. And for Bitcoin, anything under, as I pull up the chart, anything under, I would call it, nope, I'd call it back up here. Anything under 64.93 is a lower high. So those are the lower high targets we're watching. Now let's get to some of these altcoins that are seeing some volatility. I'm loving this XLM weekly chart because it's a nice clear equilibrium, and I love equilibriums because they get tight and then they break and then they get follow through more often than not. So we're looking at a higher low on the weekly having been set. That now is our higher low of support at 2055, and we're looking for a lower high on the weekly to form compared to 3046. When we lose the daily uptrend, and we can see this daily little uptrend gave us a higher low and then bull move. If we lose the daily uptrend, we'll say our weekly lower high has been established. And at this point, the bulls need another leg up in order to see an even playing field in this equilibrium. If that's as far as the bulls can muster, 255, then it's going to favor the bears on this pattern. So the daily chart needs a higher low. Anything above 209 will give us that higher low, and they need another higher high to get follow through and to even out the playing field on that weekly time frame. So at this point, looking at the 4-hour chart, we are still in an uptrend in the sense that, well, you could actually say we lost the uptrend right here. That was a little brief bull flag of consolidation at 2475, and we broke to continuation and then lost that support. That was the clear bear signal. A lot of bear follow through from there, and we'll see if we set lower highs and lower lows on the 4-hour chart. And you can see the 4-hour chart certainly correlating to what Bitcoin, XRP, and ETH have been doing the last 12 or so hours. So some decent volatility, but watch the weekly time frame. And if you're a trader that wants to have the odds in your favor and have the best risk to reward scenario, you're patiently waiting on this weekly equilibrium, and you'll play that break sometime in the next 6 weeks or so. RVN BTC, this is the high mover in terms of volatility. We had the bull break. We knew a daily higher low would come, and normally we'd expect an equilibrium there, but the big bull volume and increasing move saw continuation. So this is one that is thinly traded. A little bit of volume goes a long way, but it is certainly seeing significant action. We just went from 263 all the way up to 519. So almost a 100% move in 3 days. And at this point, clearly with the upper wick on the daily time frame, consolidation has started. 4-hour inside bar bear break with the most significant bearish candlestick we've seen since the second leg up on this run. The hourly time frame changed the trend. We had a higher low established here at 484, couldn't see continuation, and then another leg down. So at this point, we're looking to see, has the trend been lost? Has the momentum shifted? The 4-hour time frame giving us a lower high and lower low will tell us clearly, yes, daily consolidation is underway. But this bull move is so significant and we have so much space to work with, we can absolutely anticipate that a daily higher low is going to form compared to 263. So we'll watch for a trend change on the 4-hour time frame back to the bulls to indicate that our daily higher low has been established. So at this point, we're not even seeing enough consolidation on this 4-hour time frame to tell us that daily consolidation is occurring. We can see it's significant consolidation, but the 4-hour uptrend is not being lost here. We didn't consolidate on the way up, so this is attempting to form a 4-hour higher low. We have an inside bar forming right now. Essentially, we need to see this hourly chart play out a little bit more. Do we see continuation down with lower highs and lower lows? If the bulls can turn around here and hold this low of consolidation at this point of 439 and see a bull break of 467, that's going to tell us that we're not really in consolidation mode on the daily chart yet. If we do drop down and drop to a lower low, that will tell us that we are in consolidation mode, and we will then look to pull back further for a daily higher low to form. So at this point, I would be very patient because it's clear, again, this 4-hour candlestick tells us this is the most significant consolidation we've seen since the bull run has started. We are seeing a shift in the market sentiment for this name after it's run 100% essentially in 3 days. And we need to be more patient looking for bullish entries and see how much consolidation we are going to see. 4-hour exponential support is currently being tested. Look at the last, or I should say the first bull move. We held this support on multiple tests. The first 3 tests we held it. Let's see if the bulls can hold it again and again, shift that hourly momentum back in favor with a break of 467. So these little moves, there's definitely groups behind these pumps, in my opinion. You know, get a group with $5 million buying power, find a low cap coin that doesn't have a lot of movement, and run the price up. And then all these traders that are, you know, sitting stagnant in the cryptocurrency space and bored and looking for action, they pile into these names and say, all right, we got something running, and they're going to put their capital in it as well. So it's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy in that way. It could be a fundamental event. I have no idea what's going on with RVN, admittedly, but just be aware that if there's no news event and you see a coin doing this, that it is likely just a group running it. And you want to be very protective and very quick with locking in profit if that is the case. So I appreciate you watching. Continue to do good things out there, and we will check back in tomorrow, keeping an eye on GBTC, keeping an eye on the difference between Bitfinex and Coinbase exchanges, and keeping an eye on the range from Bitcoin from the wild tether day. Thanks again. See you soon.